When I did my first comparison video between Tales of the Old Margreve and Tales of the Old Margreve, I gave you some false information, really false information about an adventure being in the old book but not being in the new book. The adventure I was talking about is actually definitely in the new book, but it was also not the adventure that I meant. So with this video, I want to set the record straight on that really quickly, but also point something out about this book that increases its buyability by a ton. Is buyability a word? Hi there fellow roleplayers and game monsters, my name is Mr. Tarosky and today I want to do another comparison video on the Old Margreve, which is the remake kinda of Tales of the Old Margreve. If you know me, you know that I really love this book, and if you ask me what my favorite Kobold Press book is, 9 times out of 10 I'm going to answer Tales of the Old Margreve. I have a lot of really cool adventures that I ran in here, that I've been through as a player in here. It's just a great book that had some really great value for me personally as a game master and a player. Now they remade it for Tales of the Valiant, which is their own 5th edition RPG, so it's backwards compatible with 5th edition mostly, and yeah, it's a completely remake. There is new content in here. There's a lot of the same old content in here, but like rewritten, and a lot of new art, and it's just freshened up, and it is a really great book. But the last time that I did a video on this, I kind of told you that there is an adventure in here that isn't there's an adventure not in here that is in the old book. Now, the thing that went wrong, the adventure that I named is actually in this book, the old one, but also in this book, but it is not the adventure that I meant. So for that, I want to quickly jump into the PDF and just show you the titles and those adventures and why I like that adventure, and then also talk about something new they put in this book that I really absolutely love. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Old Margreve, which is a book that I would say you absolutely need to grab if you're into the Midgard campaign set in my Kobold Press, or you are or you are playing Tales of the Valiant actively. It is a book, it is an absolute must-buy. If there's one book by Kobold Press that I would like shove in front of your face if you'd ask me what book you should buy, it would be absolutely be the Old Margreve. Now, if you want more information about what the Old Margreve exactly is and what it offers, make sure to check out that previous video that I did. But in that video, I will link it here, by the way. In that video, I kind of gave some false information because I said there was a certain adventure that wasn't in the new one, and I just don't want that information to like stay on my channel, but I also don't want to delete that previous video. So there's actually a comment on my YouTube channel of somebody saying this, that the Vengeful Heart is actually on page 126. It's actually in the new book, and I was like, wait a second, how did I miss that? I checked it, I double checked it, and they are right about that. So this is the old one, Tales of the Old Margreve, and there's an adventure in here which is called The Vengeful Heart. It is somewhere around, where is it? The Vengeful Heart, right? Is it in the beginning somewhere? The Vengeful Heart, where is it? Oh, right here, page 81 in the old book, The Vengeful Heart. There is an adventure, The Vengeful Heart, in here. It is also in the new one. Now, the thing is, completely 100% my fault, by the way, I didn't mean The Vengeful Heart as an adventure. I was doing the video, and while I was browsing through the index in that video, I just saw The Vengeful Heart and just took that adventure as the adventure that I was talking about because it has the word heart in it. Both adventures have the word heart in it. I am talking about my favorite adventure from the old book, which has to be The Heart of Durende. The Heart of Durende on page 182, and I'll try to find it right here, page 182. The Heart of Durende is my absolute favorite adventure, maybe my second favorite adventure, but it is definitely in my top 3 of the old book. And they decided not to reprint it or repurpose it or rewrite it or whatever for the new one. And that is my main complaint about the new book. Now, I still think the new book is an insanely good value book. It is great. It is insane, especially with the new thing they did that I want to point out in this video. So there's a lot of of the old adventures are still in here, but they also got rid of some of the old adventures and basically just put in new adventures that might make more sense story-wise, overarching story-wise, or maybe like, I don't know, kind of just it makes more sense in the setting or whatever. But for me, this one has always been one of my favorites. It's this crazy moth-like, gargantuan moth-like creature that sits in like a really cool area in the forest. There's this tree with a heart, and the players are trying to get that heart, and it's really hard. It's really hard to get in here, but it's also really hard to get out once you're in. That kind of stuff. I just really love it. I love running it, and my players have always loved being on the receiving end of it. But it's not in the new one, which isn't a disaster at all. But yeah, I wanted to just quickly point that out. Now, the thing that I want to quickly point out in this video that I haven't pointed out in the first comparison video that I did on these books is that they did something with the adventures. So in the old book, something that has bothered me with the old book always is that there isn't really an overarching storyline to the adventures. Now, the adventures are laid out in a matter of like, you can play them back to back, and level wise and challenge wise and everything, and in terms of like the overarching forest having a mind of its own and kind of thing, it all makes sense. It all feels like it should be together, and you should run them from the beginning to the end. It all feels like that, but it was just like missing something that links everything together, right? In the new book, they did that. Adventures in the Old Margreve, and there is a section using these adventures. So what they did is, to run each of these adventures, you need Tales of the Valiant, Player's Guide, and Monster Vault. Through these stories take place in the Margreve Forest of Midgard campaign setting. I'm just gonna zoom a little bit. Can you guys still see this? Yes. Blah blah blah, or the World Margreve Forest, blah 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 blah. The adventures in this chapter take characters across the Margreve Forest and can be connected in a larger story arc called Desenterana's Mission. Desenderana? Is that the way you pronounce it? Desenderana's Mission. This section gives the background of that story arc, provides a summary and expected PC level of each adventure, and gives guidance on how each adventure can be connected via the mission story arc. So what they did is they came up with an NPC. They gave her Desenderana is a she/her, a bright fey mage, and there is this entire story arc. I don't want to spoil it. I just want to kind of show you how they set it up, which is absolutely really, really great. So they come up with this NPC. So you as a game master have an NPC stat block, and this is something that Kobold Press started doing, like when they started doing Tales of the Valiant, they came with these NPC blocks. I'm now also doing it in my books. That isn't like stats. It's not their strength, constitution. It's not their powers. It's not their attacks and that kind of stuff. It is their backgrounds, their personality traits, their bonds, their flaw, their wants, and what she can say when you're talking to her. Maybe like some story arcs that are like just important information for the game master to kind of know who she is, like by just reading this little block. So it's everything outside of like actual mathematical stuff, basically. And I really like that across all of the books of Tales of the Valiant and everything that they're doing recently, they have these character blocks. But what they're also doing is they talk about like who she is and why she's here and all of that kind of stuff. If your campaign focuses on the enigmatic power of the Old Margreve, consider making Deasandra an envoy or even manifestation of the Old Margreve. I really like that sentence. I really liked that when I was reading it. She could be like a manifestation, kind of like an avatar that's been spawned by the power of the forest, kind of like that, right? I really like that idea. So what they did is every adventure that is in here, Hollow, the Honey Queen, Wrath of the Bramble King, the Vengeful Heart, which is in here, by the way, Challenge of the Fang, the Griffin Hatchling Heist, Pride of the Mushroom Queen, Gal of the Spider Crone, Grandmother's Fire, Blood and Thorns. Grandmother's Fire, by the way, brings you to Baba Yaga, which is a really cool adventure. It's also in the old one. They first talk about like a summary of what the adventure is, for if you might not be connecting the adventures together. You just want a summary of the adventure, and you're just like, okay, that's the adventure. It's a 5th level adventure set in an abandoned griffin tower in the Western Margreve. The PCs meet an unusual cat who besieges them to rescue her griffin eggs, which are being held hostage in the tower by a band of brigands. The PCs must infiltrate the tower, bloody, 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 yada, yada, yada. But then it says Deacendra's mission, and every adventure has like the synopsis of the adventure itself, and then an entire section on how this connects to this NPC. It's a really simple way of increasing the value of this book, but because now you have a bunch of adventures that you can run as a full campaign. So you have a full campaign from levels 1 to levels 10, which is a pretty damn long campaign, if you ask me. So you have a full campaign that you can play beginning to end from one book. Like this book, if you are playing Tales of the Valiant, this book is a full campaign with a story arc. But it is also a bunch of adventures, loose adventures that you can just use for different parties if you're just like looking for one adventure inside a forest. A magical forest or not a magical forest, that's up to you. If you're looking for an adventure in a forest, you can just pick out one of these adventures. But if you're looking for a complete campaign or something in between, you might want to run like 3 of these adventures back to back, and then the players just move on. And then, I don't know, 5 years later in real time, they come back to it when they're like higher level, and you just jump back into that story arc. Yeah, that's why I really like it. Is a simple thing they kind of put in here. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Deacendra's and her mission were first detailed in a short adventure trilogy published as part of the Warlock Lair series. I did not know that. Wrath of the Bramble King, Pride of the Mushroom Queen, and Shadow's Envy. Those 3 adventures appear in this adventure anthology with some changes, and they are automatically connected via Deacendra's mission. Oh, cool. If you want to play any of these 3 adventures without a connected Deacendra's mission story arc, simply remove Deacendra as an NPC in all but Shadow's Envy. And remove all references to the Weft of Shadows, and that's proper. This is proper game design. This is just proper writing and game design. I really love this. There is a trilogy. They're just like, guys, this was already an NPC. I, by the way, personally did not know her. There is a trilogy of adventures involving her. We put that in here. Remove her from those adventures, except for that one adventure where she's like a key NPC. Leave her in, and that's it. You just need to know that really quickly. Now, just go on, read the rest of the book, right? Yeah, love it that they did this. Just a little bit extra that you get from Tales of the Old Margreve. Oh, sorry, just the Old Margreve. And that's it for this quick comparison video between the Old Margreve and Tales of the Old Margreve, the old book and the new book. The adventure that I said wasn't in here is actually still in here. It's just another adventure that isn't in here. My favorite adventure from the old book is an adventure that is not reprinted in this one. That's a shame to me personally, but also they've done so many good things to this book, and one of those is they added an overarching story that you can actually care about as a game master and a player to all of the adventures in here, making this a full campaign setting guide. It's just a campaign setting within a campaign setting, because technically the forest lies somewhere in Midgard, in the Midgard campaign setting, but you can just use it standalone and just drag and drop the forest in your own campaign setting, and the only thing you need is this book with player options, monsters, NPCs, spells, everything you need, and an overarching story line. And until next video, bye bye.